I'm going to start off with Adrian, a two-parter. I'm going to go, how are you? And how does it feel to be answering the same questions over and over and over again today?
Well, it's been a wild ride, as I'm sure all of my brothers on board this boat can attest. We kind of got into an all hands on deck situation the last week. Our announcement that the show is going to be closing early on the 15th, that we would only have like 10 more shows, was very sudden and out of the blue. And then everyone was like, "What can we do? What can we do?" Everybody on board, all the cast, all the creatives, we were like, "Let's get the word out right now." And then our audience just started showing up in a way that they hadn't before, and suddenly we were selling out all of these houses. And I think it was pretty clear that we couldn't end so early. So on Tuesday of this week, we announced that the show would be extending for 2 more weeks to give people a chance to see it through the holidays. And so far, ticket sales have been very strong for that run, that added run. So we're all kind of like a little bit like, oh my God, everything is treacherous and anything is possible. Um, that's where we are, and I don't mind saying it a million times because I care about this work. It's very meaningful to everyone involved. It hits us all in the heart. I mean, we've all made a lot of sacrifices to be here for this show, and it makes sense because it's one of the most beautiful pieces of art I've ever been involved in, and it is one of the best groups of people that I've ever gotten to work with. So I'm just happy that we get to do this interview together, guys.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
throw it to Chase next because Chase was the first person to sign on. Uh, and
Emperor gets the worm.
Sorry.
uh, so, Chase, I've got a complex two-parter for you. First one, you have a band called the Pretty Pants Bandit. Adrian has Bandits on the Run. Is that a coincidence that there's two bandit bands? That's the first thing. Second part is, how's it feel to get that 2 week extension on the show?
First of all, nothing holds a candle to Bandits on the Run. And second of all, it's actually a musical that I wrote that I've been trying to push for years, and I'm so in love with it. And if you have a chance, check it out, Pretty Pants Bandit musical. And I'm so thrilled for this 2 week extension. I'm in a unique perspective from these other boys. I jumped on the show right at the 11th hour, and I was able to come to these rehearsals and see what they have created out of town. And I was like, goodness gracious, how am I going to fit into this piece? And it has been a blast making that happen and seeing what they created. And I was like, wow, I'm so excited to be a part of this. And to get to do it for 2 more weeks is just a gift. So I'm trying to tell everyone I know, my family, my friends, to come see what we're doing over here at the Long Acre. It's magic, if you ask me.
Well, Brandon, bring you into the conversation here.
Yeah.
You and Chase have both been part of Swept Away, but you've also been part of different productions of American Idiot. Had you encountered Chase prior to all this?
No, actually, I knew of Chase because we had the same track. I had Chase's track in American Idiot. We had the bleached blonde front bang, and it was oh man, yeah, I just had such a good time doing that show in particular, and I share that with Johnny and Stark and Matt DeAngelis as well. Like, there's a lot of former American Idiots in this production, and yeah, I mean that's the show that was. Uh, Intense, very intense, and that's another one that was like a true brotherhood, like a family. Once you've done that show, it's like you're in the family, whether you did it on tour, non-equity, equity, Broadway, wherever.
Sure.
There's like a feeling of camaraderie, a feeling of family and brotherhood, like not dissimilar to what we're feeling here, I think.
The follow-up to that is when we snoop around your Instagram, we see some guitar photos. And it seems like this is the most singer-songwritery musical cast I've ever encountered, where everybody is creative outside of the show that they're in. What's going on for you musically outside of Swept Away? Are we allowed to know, or is it all secrets and embargoes?
No, no, no. I've been a singer-songwriter for 15 years. It's always something that I've done primarily for myself, just as sort of like a catharsis for my own. It's like my own journal, sort of a feeling.
Right.
Only recently, I think I've gotten into wanting to share more of that. And so I've started putting more of that on my socials. And my wife and I started writing music together, and we've been recording the past like 3 or 4 months. So we've got some things that we're working on that we're trying to release. So it's
Wow.
it's been in development, and yeah, I'm excited to start sharing more of the music that I've been writing.
Glad to hear that. Now, Cameron, you've been very patient. I've been keeping you very quiet right here. And on the musical end, one of your bios mentions your piano tuning. Is that a joke or is that a side hustle?
No, that's serious. It's a very, very serious side hustle. And it takes a big chunk out of my time, actually. I started piano tuning like 7 or 8 years ago, and just learning. And then when the pandemic hit, I thought I'm just going to make a real swing at a business here. And that's kind of, I mean, it's good that Broadway happens at night, because during the day it's just tuning pianos all the time. cjpianotuning.com.
cjpianotuning.com.
He also
Wow,
makes
okay.
really awesome art out of keys and old stuff, old pianos that don't work anymore, that have been decommissioned. I love seeing the stuff that you do with that, Cameron.
Thanks, buddy.
That is true about the piano art. Is that also linked from that piano tuning site?
Yeah, I mean, occasionally, if I come across someone who doesn't know what to do with their old piano, but it's sentimental, they inherited it from a family member, but it doesn't play anymore. Sometimes they'll say, "Can you turn this into a wall hanging, or can you extract the hammers and make keychains or Christmas ornaments out of them?" So I do some things like that.
When you normally have a day job that's in the arts, usually your hobbies are the exact opposite of that. Does that mean, Cameron, that you avoid playing the piano? In other words, are you a singer-songwriter, or do you avoid that like the plague?
I do not avoid it. I play piano all the time. If I'm not playing the piano, I'm playing guitar. I don't write music like all my friends here, which I completely admire anybody who writes music and check out all of their stuff. But
Sure.
I'm more of a guy who plays other people's music and just kind of has fun with it as a hobby.
Yeah, just this little thing called Broadway. Well, Adrian, coming back to you right here, I hope Swept Away continues and continues and continues. But I was also reading that you are writing music for an adaptation of What's Eating Gilbert Grape. True?
Yeah, I'm writing it with my band, Bandits on the Run, and our dear close collaborator Christopher Sears, who actually just made his Broadway debut last night in Cult of Love. Um,
Wow.
and also working with our book writer is Peter Hedges, who wrote the original book and the screenplay for the movie What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And that's been a very collaborative process. We're making it basically the family in What's Eating Gilbert Grape is a family band in our version. And we're doing actor instrumentalist treatment of every song. So that came together very quickly, kind of based on a little spark. Peter saw our friend Christopher busking in the subway, and was like, and looked him up and was like, "You know the Bandits?" He'd had us play at his birthday parties. We had worked with him a couple of times before, and he was like, "Well, we have to do something with this," and this was the natural choice. So we wrote like 40 songs within a couple of weeks and did a workshop last summer. Now we're doing some rewrites, and we plan to do a workshop really, really soon. So keep an eye out for that. I also have to say, I have to shout out Cameron Johnson. In speaking of actor instrumentalists, he has an incredible moment in Swept Away where he's playing guitar live on stage. He's such an incredible, in addition to being a great piano player, he's an incredible finger picker and is like a very talented instrumentalist. So come see the show and you'll get to see some live music on stage.
Oh my
I have to
goodness.
ask,
Thanks, buddy.
I have to ask a stupid follow-up to the Gilbert Grape thing.
Uh-huh.
And it's not intended to be stupid, it's complimentary. Are there any songs that include Match in the Gas Tank Boom Boom?
No, though, just not to say that there won't be, but I will say like a lot of the book, like the original book, it's written from Gilbert's perspective. It's first
Sure.
person, and the voice that Peter wrote in is highly lyrical. Like there are so many quotes from the book. Some of them made it into the movie, that are just like amazing and were natural fits for songs. So you just start with that text and see where it would take you. But yeah, we've taken a lot from the source material, and also put our own spin on a lot of things.
That's great. Now, one more question for Chase, one more question for Brandon, then you're all free to go to the next journalist who asks you the same questions that I asked, of course, presumably. And that's Chase, what's 2025 looking like for you? Best case scenario.
Oh gosh, best case scenario, my work that I'm writing keeps getting out there, and maybe we are seeing with Swept Away how difficult of a business this can be, and it doesn't bode well for the other side of the table, which is where I want to be. But you know, a guy can dream, and we can hope that like maybe this Swept Away noise brings, you know, a little attention to how difficult it is to get things like this out there, and then maybe that'll help my case along with Adrian's and all the other, you know, people creating theater out there. And you know, just being back on stage. Hopefully, I think this is an awesome show, and hopefully it propels all of us on to the next great thing.
Glad to hear that. And Brandon, you have the last word. Similar question at you. What does 2025 look like optimistically for you?
Wow. I think it's just finding I'd like to do more of my own original stuff. I'd like to pour more into that, pour more of my energy into things that are within my control of stuff that I can make and put out on my own. And then I'd love to see the show continue as far as we can take it. It's been amazing to see what's happened the last, you know, week and a half, and who's to say that that ball can't continue to roll down the hill? You know, I think that this is a really compelling, great piece of theater, and when you get the right amount of people and enough people to come in, and you have enough of a runway for that word of mouth spread to it takes a lot of the pressure off of our plate, and then eventually you just start getting the people to come in to see the show, because it's great. You know, it's not like we're trying to sell a bill of goods of a lie or anything. That's what's so nice, is we believe in this thing. We think it's excellent. It is excellent. And when you come see it, you'll feel the same way, you know? So it's all about just getting the people in the theater. And then I win the Powerball. I hit the I hit the multiplier at the end, that
Right.
10 is the money. And I walk away after taxes, New York State, New York City, all of that. It was like $1.2 billion. I walk away with like 400 million. And then you know, we do a few things with that. Some philanthropy probably for the rest of my life with that 400.
And then at least 7% of that goes towards being a producer of Swept Away and keeping it alive. And
Oh, absolutely. If they need my money, then they may say, you know, we don't need it at this point. We're rolling now. We're not taking any more investors. And I'd say, listen, I understand. That's fine.
well, fantastic to be speaking with you all. Hopefully the 2 weeks turns into 4, into 6, into 8, and this conversation wasn't even needed. But I'm glad that you all have great future projects coming and excellent attitudes on top of the credits.
Thank you so much.
Don't wait. Get your tickets. Who knows how long this will go on? So seriously, if you want to see the show, come before the 29th.
Paltrocast.